Hello and welcome to the Ironverse. My name is Hugo. I'll be showing you the latest update today. So we're finally able to get custom terrain generation, along with some bugs, as you're about to see. So that over there is the wall that we did yesterday. So I sort of walled out the rest of the stuff. Um, anyway, so this is the with the new custom terrain generation. Um, the I think I'd mentioned before, the parts that have been modified will stay saved, and the other parts that haven't are the ones that get regenerated with the um, whatever algorithm you change it to. This is the bugs that I was talking about. The the terrain doesn't sync properly, even though this one is the same algorithm, but I think I have probably some rounding errors or something. But regardless, this should close up. It's because the chunk on the left thinks that the chunk on the right goes straight, but it doesn't. It's just drops straight down. So that's the next thing I'll need to fix is the chunks synchronizing with each other properly. Yeah. Other than that, yeah, we'll play around with some different terrain generation algorithms today. We'll go ahead and create some, um, but we'll create a different world for it, just because this one's kind of messed up a little bit until I fix this issue. All right. So let's go back and create a new world. Alright, so you see the world is flat, that's the default when there's no terrain generation algorithm defined. And so if I go here and put in the URL of actually, instead of doing this from memory, I'll show you where you can find this. So on github.com, github.com/Ironverse is where all the modules will be, at least the ones that I make, the official ones. Of course, anybody can make their own modules and use those as well. But right now this is something else I'm working on. But right now we're using the test module. And if you want to look at the code, you can see right here. It's just one short script with the algorithm here. But what we're really interested in is if you click on clone or download, it will have the link here, and that's the link that you need to put in your world. So let's go back and paste it here. All right, branch name, that'll usually be master. That's just the default. I believe if you leave it empty, it'll default to master as well. But if you have like multiple branches, you can actually specify the branch here. Same with the tag, you can specify that if you'd like. When you're developing, it's easier to not have a tag. That way if you want to test lots of little things, you won't have to create a new release each time. Um, However, once you have like actual players coming into your world and stuff, you want your world to be stable and to work the way you expect it to work. I highly recommend you do start using tags at that point, so that you don't get unexpected updates, especially if you're using modules that other people are developing, because you never know what bugs could be introduced or just what changes that aren't compatible with your world. So yeah, so we're gonna add this one, apply, and it doesn't update automatically. That's something else I need to fix. So you actually have to log out, log back in, and here we go. This is the same algorithm as we've been using so far everywhere. Um, Actually, I think I just realized what the issue was in the other world. Why the terrain wasn't quite matching up. Um, I forgot to use the same seed, so that's why they weren't matching up earlier. But there is still the issue of the chunks not synchronizing properly. Anyway, yeah. So let's play around with this a little bit and create some new algorithms and see them in action. So I'm just gonna open um, Visual Studio Code, which is what I'm using for Go. If you are interested in doing stuff like this, you can just download VS Code. It's free. It's on both Windows and Mac, and you can add the let's see, this one, the Go extension. The other ones you don't need, just the Go one, and that'll allow the code to highlight the different parts so it's easier to read. Um, so what I want to do is take this same code and create a branch, and we'll change the code up a little bit. Maybe create multiple branches with different variations, and eventually we'll merge them all into one generator with multiple biomes. Um, let's see. Okay. For Git, for managing Git, a lot of people like to use the command line. You can use like a graphical UI software. One of them is called SourceTree, so you can check that out if you'd like. For now, I'm just going to use this. Um, so see, right now I'm on the master branch. We also have a test branch um, that I used for testing something else. But what we want to do in this case is create another branch from the master branch, and then we'll make changes on that branch so we don't lose what we did here. So to create a branch, we'll just write git branch and the name of the branch that we want. So maybe we'll do lanes or something to start out. Alright, and then we need to see if I do git branch, I won't have switch branches yet, it'll just be created. So to switch, you do git checkout lanes. So if I do git branch, you'll be able to see we have in fact switched to lanes. Alright, so here all I'm going to do actually is change probably these two values for this one. So the planes, we basically want pretty much the same thing, but with like low, um, really low variation in height. So we could reduce the height range. What the height range does is when we get a value between -1 and 1 from the noise function, it just basically scales it up. So this goes from, I believe, 0 to 50. But let's say I just wanted to go from 0 to 5, I could just do this. And the frequency is how close together the hills are. So yeah, so in this case, I can't remember if a higher value is more hills closer or lower, or if it's the opposite. It is quite a low value. Yeah, I think a bigger value means, yeah, definitely, yeah. So a bigger value means the hills are more spread out. Smaller value means they're closer together. So let's say I change this to 0.05. Just have the hills a little bit more spread out. So this should give us a lot more flat terrain, but not like perfectly flat like the default. So let's say we save this. Actually, this should work right here. I'm not sure why. I may actually be in the wrong folder. It should be right. Right. So, okay. Yeah, so I'm not sure why this thing isn't connected anymore. This allows you to do some things. We can do it from the command line, but I just want to show you how, like, what you can do with Visual Studio Code. I'm just gonna restart. Gonna reopen it. Maybe because we're in a different. No, okay, there we go. So this is like VS Code integrates with Git. So this this thing is called source control. So it shows you what changes you've done. So these lines were removed, these were added. That's the only change we did here. Um, so you can write a message for what change you made for easy reference. So we create values to make planes, and go ahead and say yes. We'll commit everything, and then we'll push. This is important. It's important that you push because until you do, everything that you've done is still on your computer and it's not online yet. Once you push, it's online, and the and Ironverse will be able to pick up the changes. So if we switch back to Ironverse here, and let's go to this module, and let's enter our branch name, which was planes. Edit, and we have to apply. It's not really obvious because there's no feedback when you click apply, not like this one. Actually, let's change this. So when we apply changes on this one, okay, this one doesn't have feedback in either. But yeah, okay. But once you've clicked it, eventually I'll improve that. But once you've clicked it, you can just log out, log back in, and the changes should be applied. Here we go. I'm pretty high up, so we're just basically following right now. Have some invisible area that's still loading beneath us. But you can see that this is our planes basically. So yeah, that's how it works. Go higher so you can get a better view. Yeah. So let's go ahead and create another one. Let's make it on another branch again. So get branch. Should probably go back to the main branch. Oops. Let's get check out. Okay, so now we're back on the master branch. So it's pretty good practice usually to branch out from the main one and not branch from branch unless I mean there's always probably cases where that can be useful, but in this case we're just gonna have everything branch off from the main branch. That way it will be easier to merge everything back in together once we get to where we want to combine them into different biomes. Alright, so this one, maybe we can do something a little bit more crazy. So what we'll do... Okay. I feel like I want to do maybe like really spiky pillars, I guess. So maybe we can turn the frequency like way down so the hills will be closer together, and maybe we'll do if the height right, so this is our height. If the let's say if the height is less than maybe 25, then make it 0. Yeah, and because after this, our height is going to be somewhere between 0 and 50, right? So this means the bottom half of the height variations will all be flattened out to 0. Actually, instead of flattening out, I think maybe we can divide it. So this height, let's multiply it by 0.1 or 0.25. Yeah, multiply by a quarter. So 25 should go down to around 6. Yeah. And if the height is greater than or equal to 25, let's make the height maybe twice as high. Yeah. So you can actually do a shortcut. This will multiply itself by 2. It will change its own value into double itself. So I could actually do that here too. It's the same thing. It's just a different way of writing it. The result will be the same. And yeah, and I still want the height limit to be 50. So after doubling the height right here, if the height is over 50, we can make it basically lock at 50. Maybe double's a bit too much because 25 will go straight to 50, so 1.25 maybe. Yeah. So let's try that. I have no idea how this is going to look. So let's increase the height a little bit more, 60. Instead of using 50 here, I'll just use the right number. Can't remember why I have 50 here. Like, this really isn't needed. What it'll do is just raise everything evenly. Yeah, it's not really needed. I'll just leave it anyway. Okay. So I think we'll go with this, and you know what? I think we forgot. Yeah, we forgot to create our branch. So git branch. What are we gonna call this one? Pillars. Git check out pillars, and we're gonna save our changes to the pillars branch. That's the one we switched to. And we're going to push the changes. Alright, so let's go see how it looks. So let me log out. This one. Go ahead and change our branch. And yeah, gotta log out. Log back in. Gotta go higher. Oh, this is not what I expected. This is not what I expected at all. Okay. So we've got like a huge wall. It seems to go not in a straight line. Seems like it curves. Okay. You know, I think when I lowered the frequency, I thought it would make the hills closer together, but I guess it did the opposite, actually spread out. So let's go ahead and change that right now. Is that 0.25? Oh, not this one. Yeah, so is that like this? Maybe multiply it by 10. Let's try this one. Increase. Let's see. I guess that makes more sense. Frequency, the higher it is, the more frequent the hills are. I still think like this is probably still too low to really get pillars the way I thought we were gonna get, but we'll see. At this point, we didn't change branches, so we just need to log out, log back in. Okay, wow. Okay, this is pillars. They're a lot higher than I expected, though. Let's go up top. Look at it from the top. Yeah, this is definitely pillars. Wow, it's a lot higher than I expected. Look at that. Let's go down. Walk around from the bottom. See how it is from down there. Let's go in first person. Ah, this is really cool. Ah, I hit a dead end. Yeah, very interesting. That is a lot higher than I thought. That feels like that would be more than 50 high anyway. Still, it's pretty cool. Let's go up. Alright, so here we are. Cool. So, yeah, that's all for today. We'll have some more fun with this next week. Um, Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, join the Discord channel, and support me on Patreon. So, thanks, and I'll see you next time.